Yo, what to do? What to do, family? It's another MuddFoot media coverage. Out here, we're writing the culture. We out here preserving the culture for all the naysayers, for all the non-believers, and for all the people who say, "Etlek lozo pelelapi." We back at it again. It's another MuddFoot media coverage, and today we are have a very important project that's really close to my heart. I would say, it's a project that is an encapsulation of someone's journey from grit to glamour. Not really glamour, but grit to really finding their voice. You know, this is a rapper I've known for some time now. A rapper who I've been following for like the longest time since back in 2019, 2020. You know, from his earlier releases of Pipe Dreams, type beats and pipe dreams, something from me, source, what was written number one, what was written two, and to this latest offering, which is a really great journey of encapsulation of really like finding your voice. I would definitely believe that the artist has finally found his voice when listening to this tape compared to all his other tapes, you know. And it's been a really clear cut indication of really honing your hustle within you and really like going through it and really like going mano a mano with yourself day in, day out, and actually showcasing what the fuck you go do. So the album that we about to dissect today is an album from an artist by the name of Southside TKO, formerly known as TKO Makoma. Yeah, because I knew back then when it was TKO Makoma. Back then it was still Ndogozo Miilwa. But yo, we here today as to dissect the album of Southside TKO on his latest album titled Southside Theory. So basically the album was dropped in August the 2nd. The album is basically a reflection of his journey from like the tight knit skirts of South Africa. He's originally from Lehae, and it's really something worth listening to. You know, it's a mix of classic boom bap. It is a mix of grits and perseverance. Listening to the album is basically like find listening and understanding the stories he's telling about like the challenges we face when we are pursuing the grind, um, temptations we face on a daily basis when in the cars you trying to reach your dreams. Basically, he's more like a street poet in this latest release. He's more like a street poet, just like vouching for everybody else, giving them the hope to finally like get out of their comfort zone and finally go out there and become who the fuck they want to be. And it's really a clear indication of a rapper really finding himself. It's a really clear indication of a rapper really like finding his voice in this hip hop shit, because like a lot of people here out here with lost identities trying to like capture what essence they think they have. But with this one I feel like it's more of a clear indication of how to really do it. And also, excuse me for like looking down a couple of times. Just that I have notes that I wanted to like really like get through and for everybody to like hear them. But in an essence, Southside Theory is for anyone who's ever faced challenges, but still has the courage to go out and really like fight for their dreams. Dreaming big. As I said before, like the rap is like originally from Lehae, the South Side. So basically it's a story for everyone who's got something to prove, who's got something to really fight for. His musical style is really influenced by the likes of Pro Kid, like that early classic NY boom bap movement. With each track, he stays true to the heart of hip hop while sharing his journey and lessons that he's learned throughout the whole past, and from his early releases from 2019 till this day today, So yeah, yeah. Let's just get down to it. On the first track, which is Still Grzn, is a really, really beautiful encapsulation of basically a reflection of his personal growth, personal journey, and where he is right now. One thing we have to say about him that his wordplay is still unprecedented. Bro has been on a fucking roll when it comes to like wordplay, really like jotting it down. And just to add, he's the type of MC who who hardly ever like writes or jot down his ideas or his lyricism. He just basically goes off the top of his dome. And for him to be going off the top of his dome for this long and still like regaining his authenticity and still like honing the type of grit like many rappers do not really like have or share. It's crazy to say the least. Quotable like lyrics from the first track on Still Grazing. He said something like never out of hand like Jack my Master's Glove. Like he's just like bringing so much history, he's bringing so much relativity so that every listener can like catch on and be like, oh shit, man, I can relate to that because like I've been watching that for real, for years and so on, you know. And the wordplay in his like lyricism is actually like a very huge takeaway from this album also, because like he has a very beautiful way of encapsulating like Gassy life, encapsulating the lives we were shown to in the soapies and the TV shows growing up. Like he has a nice, beautiful way of just like bringing it all together just to make one form of reflection for. It's more like a very, very, very prophetic intro to the album. Just basically placing the listener to watch for what's yet to come. On the second track, Be Yourself, we actually get a more like anthem type of vibe. The song's more like an anthem for everybody who is like lost or maybe like losing faith in themselves. Just basically like giving them faith to yo, you just need to be yourself. Just need to hone in what you are, your true essence, and just stick to it. Not really given the pressures that we face on a daily basis, like drugs, like ubumnandi, and not to say that all these things are bad, but I'm just saying, it's pressures that they happen on a daily basis that we shouldn't just give into. And that's basically him saying that in the track. So BSF also has a couple quotables, a lot of quotables. Some he's going beyond the lines of I've been dope way before Spotify and Deezer, and I mean I'm a working testimony. I've seen that actually, so I can relate. You know, and on this track, he featured another rapper I would presume is from his Gasi, from his journey, someone who's been with him maybe from the start of the journey. I'm not very aware of him, but the name of the rapper is Q, you know? And there's a line in the track whereby they're talking about, not really talking about, let me just quote it. It's just basically saying, Abuma Figizolo, y'all are very late, and take us by us really, some. So it's just like him basically saying to the listener with like a lot of people that I came up with or a lot of people that I started this journey with abaseko, yabo, which is crazy. And like it's even like can tie back to the mainstream artists that we have here in SA, because like there's a lot of rappers who we can like look at today and be like, hey, I really wonder what happened to the guy, or he's a shell of his former self. And so it's really, 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 really dope perspective, because like most relevant rappers just don't have like that no more. Another huge takeaway from his discography as a whole is that he's been a type of rapper who self-records his scripts. Because most people like would generally like go out and sample the skits and bring it to the track so that people can like relate to what they're trying to like the message they're trying to give. But most of the time, he self records his skits, and he's been so like loyal and close to the producer of his music, because like you can even hear the progression of all of his albums compared to what it was to what it is right now, you know. Even the producer, that tag, mfana kukhishwa nyawo, no, you know. It's also another thing just to like encapsulate. It would see he's been like doing it like at the toppest level, you know. He's been out here doing it top tier shit, and it's only now that he's finally found a really really true way to like hold it and like project it to the world so that everybody else can like relate to it a better way, you know. On the third track, Southside Theory, which is the title track, it's basically like him encapsulating the essence, you know, encapsulating the essence of of resilience and ambition in our community, you know. And many artists are really like, not to say artists in general, but many people have a knack of like dropping the ball or maybe like losing it of some time, you know. But like he does a very great job in like bringing all of those type of essence and into one track and making them like relatable to everybody who's listening, you know. Quotables on this track is, he says, no euphemism to cover all these lows, deal with these flaws we never had at all, you know. And I could relate to that, and I feel like anybody else can relate to that because like it's really really raw and uncut. You know, his lyricism is really raw and uncut. It's really like a clear reflection of like coming from the guys here and actually getting out there to actually do your shit and actually making sure that you are really are about this shit. You know. On the next track, which is three, Roman numero three, you know, this one is a more laid back club banger, I would say, you know. Very, very, very good. Loved it. I love it. You know, was the first track whereby I feel like we jumped into this new version he's talking about. Because like the first three tracks, I could closely relate them to his last release, What Was Written. And What Was Written has a review. So you should check out the review also. But yeah, What Was Written has a review, and the first three tracks I feel like it's in close relation to the energy that he had in What Was Written. But this time it's just like him showcasing what he still has it and he hasn't lost it. He's still him, but this time it's just better presentation, a more clear voice, a more clear route of like voicing out his thoughts and ambitions, you know, with this rap shit, you know. So on track number four, which is three, Roman numero three, as I said before, um, it's more like a laid back club banger, you know. It's simplicity at its best. Less is more in this track. I don't want to lie. Possibly like my favorite track so far in the tape, you know. But like I have different favorite tracks every single day. But this one, top contender, really hot, you know. And the next track, No Tags, is really, really beautiful, just to say the least. The track is a very raw, high energy track about identity, about success, and about owning who you are, you know. So it's really simple but golden, you know. It has a really high energy, but still so nonchalant and effortless. It has a perfect balance when it comes to like really understanding what type of artist he is, what type of sound he's giving, and what type of message he's trying to like give out to the listeners, you know. Um on this track, basically is the best produced track, the best written track in the whole album, in my view. And it's really, 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 really a beautiful representation of the artist that he's become, you know. And also the skits at the end, whereby his homie is basically saying, "Hey man, you're about to make it out the hood with this one." Cause bro, when you listen to the track, that's when you really fucking like understand how really, really intentional and how purposeful everything was in recording it, and the writing and the producing, everything like falls in line. Everything is just a perfect balance, you know. And for it to be like the fifth track in the album, I think like it's really, really, really good because like it's like a midway point of it now. Because the album really has 8 tracks all in all. So with the fifth track, it's more like a midway point, like jumping from the bridge before, from his old stuff into this new version that he's bringing, which is more fresh, more direct, more purposeful, you know. And the next trip that follows is Double Cup, also club banger type vibes, you know. Not really my favorite, but it's good also. It's good also. What I would like to say about it, the hook is really good, you know, and it really like showcases like um not really giving in to like vices or like fixated on certain fixes that are a way of life for many people, you know. Because like in the lines he's saying, don't give me the czar, just pass me the cup, just keep pouring up and keep pouring up type vibes, you know. So it's really a beautiful representation of like an artist not really like going with the flow with anything, or really, really, really being clear to himself and really being honest to what he is, you know. Then the next track that follows is City Lights. Also another 10 out of 10 track in this album. It's a close contender with No.tags for being like the best produced tracks in the albums. No.tags and City Lights are really, really top two contenders for like for the whole project, you know. But I feel like City Lights gonna still grow on me as time goes on because it's really introspective, and the piano in the production also adds a really reflective atmosphere for like the listener to really be diving deep into their thoughts, also to like really, really find out and like, what is this? What does it make me feel? You know. And like the track is really polished. It really sounds like a hustler's prayer, you know, praying for the drive to still maintain, praying for like his grits to be his driver, you know. And also another thing, I feel like the track is more like a modern version, yeah, Umthandazo Bolova, you know. If you know Umthandazo Bolova by you Brown Dash, then this track, if you listen to it, I feel like you can closely relate both of them to it, you know. Not to say it sounds similar or anything like that, but just to say that track and this track, Nukuzan, City Lights, is basically like a was and now type of vibe that you can like really like dive deep in and be like, oh shit. So this is Umtana Zobolova, but in a more modern, more boom bap type of atmosphere, you know, from a Gussie kid, you know, from a Gussie legend to a Gussie kid, you know. It's like passing down the baton type shit, you know. It's really, really, really dope, really, really dope encapsulation of what the struggle is really all about, you know, and what fighting for your dream is really, really all about, you know. On the last track of the tape, which is Day Shift, which was the first track that I liked when listening to the album first time. You know, on first listen, this was my favorite track on first listen. You know, it was really, really dope. It was a really dope presentation. You know, it was really a beautiful outro to encapsulate all that I've heard in the album. You know, back to the tech era producer, which I still don't know the name of. Excuse me, guys, but I'll do my research. So the name of the producer, I still don't know it, but the tag, dog. It's also like still so prevalent to the type of music he's doing, to the type of rhymes and lyricism he's portraying. You know, it really like encapsulates the journey he's been on, and really like highlighting the grit and perseverance that has been honing it for him to be like the artist that he is at this current moment of time, you know. And it really like shows his unwavering drive to strive to be like the best that he knows that he is, you know. Round about it, I would give this whole album, nah, a clear 8.5 total out of 10, you know, because it's really, really, really beautiful when how a rapper just really like can be a street poet, talk about his struggle, tell stories, and actually make it so enjoyable to the point that you would want to listen to it again and again and again and again. So my big shout outs to Southside TKO for the latest release. And this is a recommendation for all of y'all niggas to like go back and check that shit out because it's really, really dope in every fucking form, you know? And with that being said, thank you for checking this out. It's another MuddFoot Media coverage. We're fighting the culture, preserving the culture, giving you something new so that you can know where to live. Signing out once again. Bye.